Welcome back, tribe. It's your girl here, Michelle Jones. I'm super excited to continue on this journey of the 31 days of Halloween. I hope you guys have been enjoying the videos so far. If you have, be sure to be smashing that like button on all of the videos. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And without further ado, let's get into this. So today we're talking about Leviathan. We're continuing on our Demonology series, but just to give a heads up, this is not quite part 3 of the Unholy Trinity, the little mini-series that we've been working on. I kind of decided to interject Leviathan in this little series because he can be considered part of the Unholy Trinity to some, but overall he is not part of the Unholy Trinity, but we will get into that again in just a moment. So in ancient times, the word Leviathan was used to describe unknown and really formidable sea monsters that dwell down in the depths of the ocean. And I mean, back in like the Renaissance and even before that, there was so much that was unknown about the ocean that certain words like Leviathan and the Kraken and things like that were commonly used because, I mean, if you saw a whale, you didn't necessarily know that it was a whale back then. Things weren't classified like they are now. But if we're being completely honest, the ocean is still a huge mystery to us. Like, yes, we've classified most of the animals that dwell in the ocean. We understand how the ocean works, things like that. But there's huge, like, cavernous abysses down in the depths of the ocean that have yet to be explored. So there's a little bit of mystery and kind of this eerie feeling when discussing the ocean. But the name Leviathan has a much darker definition to go along with it. And from here on, we're going to be talking specifically demonology. There are some demonic origins to the word Leviathan in ancient texts. So in the Tanakh, which I have no idea if I'm saying that right, but it means the Hebrew Old Testament, Leviathan is mentioned several times, as well as in the more modernized Christian Bible that we see in English and, more modern languages. So Leviathan is often referred to as a demon of darkness and chaos, which, a lot of demons are, if we're being completely honest, but he's also referred to as one of the 7 princes of hell. So he apparently rules alongside of Abaddon and Beelzebub and all these other different characters that we've been talking about who are also considered princes of hell. So since Leviathan is said to dwell in the depths of the ocean, I kind of wonder if maybe there's a portal to hell in the depths of the ocean. Sometimes people will say that they've stumbled on a portal to hell on land, and there are plenty of demons that prowl the world on the top side, as we call it. But some of the more fascinating lore surrounding Leviathan mentions that Leviathan's mouth, his jaws, are actually considered the hell mouth, and that if you enter into Leviathan through his mouth, you are entering hell. So Leviathan's mouth is actually the gateway to hell, which makes a lot of sense because in some ancient texts, Leviathan is also mentioned as the gatekeeper to hell. So, if the gate is his teeth, yeah. Now, Leviathan is also referenced as a demon of pride. I feel like most demons have pride issues and envy issues and things like that. But as we've already mentioned in previous demonology videos, most of the princes and kings of hell are referred to in relation to at least one of the deadly sins, if not more. Now, in certain demonology texts, like the Lesser Key of Solomon and things like that, there are certain rituals, incantations, yada yada yada, that will allow you to possibly summon Leviathan. And from what I've read, now these are people who claim to have summoned Leviathan, don't know if that's real, don't know if they're insane, could be, not sure. But apparently Leviathan is not very welcoming towards people at all, very moody, just like most demons apparently are. And of course, we have the age-old issue of Leviathan being used synonymously with Satan. We've talked about that many times: Beelzebub, Abaddon, Astaroth. People like to misconstrue any demonic name with that of Satan, which I guess if they all come from Satan or are underneath him in the hierarchy, then I guess it could possibly make sense to do that. But anyway, in ancient times, there was a saint by the name of Saint Thomas, and he described Leviathan as a demon of envy. And supposedly Leviathan is going to be either the very first or one of the first demons who gets to exact punishment out on human beings during the end of time. Now I'm going to read you a quote from the book of Enoch that describes Leviathan real quick, because this is probably the only moment where Leviathan will ever be referred to as possibly a female creature. So here we go. And that day will two monsters be parted, one monster a female named Leviathan, in order to dwell in the abyss of the ocean over the fountains of the water, and the other a male called Behemoth, which holds his chest in an invisible desert. And it goes on to describe Behemoth, and we will get into Behemoth at a later date. But this is the only time I've ever seen Leviathan referenced as a female creature. Which in some ways kind of makes sense, because if you look at Revelations and stuff like that, it will talk about like the Whore of Babylon, but it will also talk about these different dragons, these different like evil entities that come up. One comes out of the ocean, one comes out of the earth. So I don't know, it would make sense in a philosophical kind of way to have a female and a male represented, because like there's evil in all of us, men and women equally, but maybe I'm getting a little bit too off the mark with that. Anyway, visually, Leviathan has been depicted all types of ways. He has been depicted, or she has been depicted, as a whale-like creature with 7 heads. Some images of Leviathan have been more shark-looking like, and a lot of them have been misconstrued with the Kraken. So Leviathan is not the Kraken, which is like basically a giant killer octopus squid thingy. So Leviathan is mentioned several times in the Bible, including Job 41 verses 15 through 32, Isaiah 27 verse 1, and Psalms 74 verse 26, which actually is a verse that is praising God for crushing the 7 heads of Leviathan. So in the Bible, it references God destroying Leviathan, but there are other ancient texts that refer to Gabriel, the archangel, actually having a face-off with Leviathan at the end of days. As I mentioned in the Beelzebub video prior, Paradise Lost, written by John Milton, references many of these famous or infamous demonic characters several times, and he also mentions Leviathan. So John Milton actually created this, I'll say fictitious just because we don't really know, of course, Unholy Trinity, where he referenced that the Unholy Trinity would consist of Lucifer, Beelzebub, and Leviathan. So next video in this series will be the conclusion of the Unholy Trinity. We're going to talk about Lucifer and Satan, the differences, the similarities, whether or not they're the same being, different. It's kind of up to you. So I hope you guys are enjoying this creepy 31 days of Halloween. What do you think of Leviathan? Do y'all have any artwork depicting him? Do you have any ideas on what it is? He, she, is it the gatekeeper of hell? Comment down below with any thoughts, ideas, or links to any artwork that you guys do. Other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow. I know today's a short video, but I feel like the shorter videos tend to do better because it's not just me ranting and raving for hours on it. Yeah. So I love you all, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.